Hello, everybody. Rick at Cross Creek Acres. Hope all of you are doing really good. I want to talk to you all about something that I'm pretty passionate about, and something that's really touched my life for the last 20 plus years. And it might be beneficial to you in some way, somewhere down the line. Or you may be in complete disagreement with a lot of what I'm fixing to say, and that's fine too. But first of all, before I get started, let me just tell you, I'm not I have no background in medical care. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, obviously. But I've had some things happen in my life that have caused me to become passionately interested in what's going on in our healthcare system. And I want to kind of walk you through the conclusions that I've come to, right or wrong. And if nothing else, maybe it'll make you think about all this stuff. Again, I'm not a doctor, and you shouldn't change anything you do in your life based on anything I say. I'm just sharing my feelings about our healthcare system and what I've learned about it, what I believe to be true, and then you can go from there and do whatever you think's best for you. But our healthcare system is allopathic reductionism, basically. That's what 90% of our modern healthcare system is. And basically what that means in a nutshell is our healthcare system is designed to alleviate your symptoms. There's not a whole lot that goes on in our healthcare system from the standpoint of chronic disease. There's not a whole lot that goes on in our healthcare system, in our allopathic healthcare system, that has anything to do with curing anything, nor does it have much to do with keeping you from getting sick in the first place. Now, I'm not saying our system is awful. I'm just saying it's out of balance. It is guided by the pharmaceutical industry. The pharmaceutical industry has tremendous influence on medical school curriculum. And basically, the pharmaceutical industry exists to make money. It just does. And unfortunately, I'm not saying this is a big, nasty conspiracy. I'm just saying the nature of how our system is designed is the result of how our system is designed. You're going to continue to be sick for the most part. Not in all cases, of course, but for the most part, from the standpoint of from disease, you're going to be sick, and it's your symptoms that are going to be treated. But what's causing you to be sick is rarely addressed in our current system. In other words, the way it's designed right now, it is that the system has monetized you being sick. I did a video a couple of months ago about not allowing yourself to become a useful idiot for a political party. And the gist of what I talked about in that video was politicians need you to have problems. They want you to have problems because a politician can't be your hero unless you got a problem. And if you don't have a problem, a politician will make you think you have a problem. Well, our medical system, unfortunately, has kind of evolved into something similar to that. It's very profitable for you to continue to be sick and not have the root of your problem addressed, but just to have your symptoms addressed. Because if you don't address the root of your problem, the cause of your problem, and you only address the symptoms, then you're basically stuck taking that medicine for an extended period of time, and that's how they make money. And what drew me to all these conclusions were basically three things that have happened to me over the last 22 years. Back in '03, I was standing in my little man cave at the house and I was putting a golf ball across the carpet, and all of a sudden, I could not feel my left arm. It's like my left arm just completely disappeared. Okay? I had a minor stroke while I was standing in my den. My wife rushed me to the hospital. I spent a couple of days in the hospital. They couldn't find the cause. So, they told me to start taking aspirin every day, and I need to get, they recommended a blood thinner and blah, blah, blah. But they didn't know what caused it. The only thing that popped in their mind was to me start taking drugs. So I went home, and 2 days later, I'm standing in a meeting. I'm holding a big meeting at my work. I had about 300 people listening to what I was saying up at the podium. And I basically just started mumbling. I started, and one of my employees run up there to me and said, "Rick, you need to sit down. Something's wrong with you." I didn't even realize what I was doing. And I was basically having my second stroke within the span of 48 hours. Rushed back to the hospital and couldn't find anything wrong with me after doing tons of tests and all that, and basically told me I needed to start taking drugs, and here's all the drugs I need to start taking and all that. So then I made my way to my family doctor within a day or two after that. And then here we go with, from now on, you need to be on blood thinning. You need to be taking a baby aspirin every day. We need to lower your cholesterol by putting you on a statin drug that lowers your cholesterol. And I didn't have another stroke after that, but I eventually became in really bad health, physically and somewhat mentally. And I got where I just couldn't take it anymore after years of being on these drugs. The statin drug that was lowering my cholesterol was really doing a number on me after a few years. So this is where the light switch really came on for me. I felt so bad and I became so irritated with my doctor. I went to what's called a doctor that practices functional medicine. Now, this is a regular MD, but this type of doctor has gone on and taken continued education from the standpoint of naturopathic care, homeopathic care, etc., to have a better understanding of why people get sick in the first place and how to keep them from getting sick again. A functional doctor will give you medication sometimes, but their main focus is what made you sick in the first place. So this doctor completely opened my eyes to what's going on in the healthcare system. This doctor took me off those drugs, and this doctor educated me on what was going on with my body that most likely caused me to have those little strokes in the first place. Your body, folks, is constantly trying to heal itself. This is what I've learned through the years of going through all this. Your body is constantly trying to heal itself. You have to give your body all the raw materials that it needs, all the tools that it needs to heal you. And you have to avoid, as much as you can, putting things in your body that keeps your body from being able to properly heal. But your body is a healing machine. Your body wants to stay healthy. You have to give it the tools it needs to do that. And there's so many doctors out there. When you get sick, the only thing that they really know to do with any confidence is to write you a prescription that will alleviate your symptoms. And most of these prescriptions, or all these prescriptions, have side effects to some degree. They just do. And usually after you've been on some of these prescriptions for many years, you feel worse. You have a whole myriad of other issues that these medicines have caused that has caused your life to be really sub-quality. And this functional doctor that I went to, she did such a good job of opening my eyes on what it takes to be healthy and avoid illness. Now, again, don't get me wrong. There's a place for our modern allopathic healthcare system, of course. You know, if you get in a bad car wreck, you know, you don't want to go to a functional doctor. You know, if you're injured, you know, you need immediate care. You know, if you're having a heart attack, you need to go somewhere where they, you know, do whatever they need to do, put some stents in you or whatever they need to do to get that blood flowing. But I'm going to tell you, if you want to avoid getting sick again, a traditional allopathic MD is not your best bet, in my opinion. So that's one thing that happened in my life that really got me started on looking at all this in a different way. Then the next thing that happened in my life, quite a few years later, was my daughters started having issues with their pregnancies and their children, my grandchildren. So right now, I have one grandchild that has a pretty severe, the most severe form of spina bifida. I have another grandson that's got a mild version of spina bifida. One of my daughters lost a baby because it had almost zero brain formation. Well, come to find out, I have a very severe genetic SNP called MTHFR. And MTHFR makes it very, very, very difficult for you to metabolize B vitamins, B12 and folic acid. So if you have this genetic SNP that I have, you're going to pass it on to your kids. And there's different severities of this genetic SNP, and I have the worst form of it there is. And I'm homozygous for this genetic SNP, which means I have the worst form of it that there is. And my mom and my dad had it, so I got 2 copies of this bad genetic SNP. And I passed, my wife don't have it, so I passed 1 copy on to both of my daughters, and it has caused problems in their life. And you know, we've been educated on all that now, and you know, we know how to overcome that, and it's not with freaking medicine. We take methylated B12, and we take methylfolate, and there's, you know, and this really drives me crazy, folks, because there's so many young women out there right now that are trying to get pregnant, and they're taking prenatal vitamins that their gynecologist put them on. And those prenatal vitamins may not have the right kind of folate or B12 in them if they have this genetic SNP that I have. If you have this genetic SNP that I have, then it's going to be very hard for your baby in the first 3 or 4 weeks of that fetus being formed. The brain and spine, the neural tube as it's called, has to have folate for it to form properly. There's so many gynecologists out there who have baby doctors that have not a clue what I'm talking about. And they will give these young ladies these prenatal vitamins that have the wrong kind of B12 and the wrong kind of folic acid in them. So these young ladies will have babies who have spina bifida issues or other mental issues, and it's simply because they have a genetic SNP that keeps them from being able to properly metabolize B12 and folic acid. Now, how many young ladies out there even know this? Very few. How many doctors out there know this? Very, very few. And all of this stuff to me is so unfortunate. So that was the second thing that really opened my eyes to all this. And then the third thing that really opened my eyes to all this was what happened to me about 3 years ago, and when I just became depressed and fatigued. I had no energy. I had no joy for life. I didn't enjoy things that have always made me happy. I had no clue what was wrong with me. Then I went to this doctor, and it was the wrong doctor for me to be going to. I knew better, but I went to him anyway. And he ran all these tests. He ran the wrong kind of tests, as I discovered later. And he couldn't find anything wrong with me. And so his solution was to put me on an SSRI, a depression medication. And I wasn't going to do that. So I started being my own health advocate, and I realized that I had a major testosterone deficiency. My total testosterone was really high, but my free testosterone, which is the most important metric in your labs that most doctors don't even run, my free testosterone was almost zero, which is the most important number of the two. You've got total testosterone, you got free. Most doctors won't even run free. They just don't know. They're just not educated on that. So anyway, after I got to the right doctor, I realized all I really needed to do was get some testosterone in my system, and it just completely changed my life. No more depression, no more fatigue, happy again. But if I hadn't been my own health advocate and done my own research, I would have ended up taking Prozac or something like that. I mean, you really do need to educate yourself, folks. They have monetized us continuing to be sick. Don't it make you sick when you turn on the television and, these little chubby people are dancing all over the place trying to convince you to take semaglutide, Mounjaro, or one of those things? I mean, doesn't it just make you sick that they're advertising medicine like it's potato chips? I mean, something just seems unethical about that to me. So let's talk about losing weight let's just use that as another example. So now the big thing right now is to take a shot. That's the best way to lose weight now. Take a shot. Take you a semaglutide shot so you can completely numb your stomach and slow down your digestive tract. You eat a little something, and then your food just sits in your stomach longer than it's supposed to, which makes you feel full. Your stomach gets numbed. You basically get, you know, I don't know the word, paralysis. You get paralysis of your digestive tract taking this stuff that everybody's taking now. And so is that the right answer to losing weight? Really? I mean, look, if you're obese and that's not healthy either, and you need to drop some weight, you need to start dropping it fast, and you need to use that as a tool to do it. Fine, but you really want to take that crap forever? Is that the best way to lose weight? Really? I mean, could it be that you need to get off your tail? Could it be that you need to stop eating so many carbohydrates? Could it be that you need to get your free T3 checked to make sure your thyroid is functioning properly? Could it be that your sex hormones are tanked? When your sex hormones tank, so does your metabolism. I mean, do you really want to just take a shot every week that numbs your stomach? I mean, if that's what you want to do, fine. I'm just challenging you to think about the fact that they have monetized you being sick, so that your solution will be to take a medication. You know, how many of you are on a blood pressure pill? Okay, and this blood pressure pill makes you feel terrible. Makes you cough all the time and makes you feel sluggish, and it just makes you feel awful, but it gets your blood pressure down there where it needs to be. Is that what you should do? Maybe so, okay? Maybe so. Or has anybody told you that when you start getting older, it's very, very difficult for your body to continue to make nitric oxide? Nitric oxide is a gas that is created in your body that helps your arteries stay nice and relaxed and healthy. And if you get to the point where we all get to the point where our bodies don't want to make nitric oxide anymore efficiently. And when that happens, you need to give your body some of the raw materials it really needs to help it make as much nitric oxide as possible. And you do that by eating a lot of leafy green vegetables, eating a lot of foods that have nitrates in them. Nitrates will help your body make nitric oxide. Eat foods that are rich in citrulline. Are you getting enough omega-3 fatty acids? Do you eat enough things, or should you be supplementing with some magnesium? Some of these natural compounds may be all that you need to lower your blood pressure instead of that medication that makes you feel like crap. I don't know. But I do know a lot of people don't ask themselves these questions. They just trust what that man or woman in the white coat says to do. Heart disease. How many of you are out there taking a statin drug to really lower your cholesterol because they have convinced you that cholesterol is what's clogging because your level of cholesterol is what clogs your arteries? I mean, do a little research on that. You might come to the conclusion that arteries are being clogged because arteries are constantly constricting and relaxing all day, every day. And sometimes they get inflamed because you're not putting a lot of the proper raw materials in your body, in your diet, or in your supplementing program so that your arteries can stay healthy. And when your arteries get inflamed, cholesterol is the healing mechanism that God put in your body, so that cholesterol goes to where that inflamed area is to try to heal it like a scab. And if you don't start giving your body the raw materials it needs to heal that inflammation, then that cholesterol is going to continue to go to that area to try to heal it for you. And then eventually you can end up with a clot there because you're not really addressing the root of the problem. Is that the case for you? I don't know. But I do know that since they created these statin drugs that are making these pharmaceutical companies billions and billions and billions of dollars, they've got everybody taking these statin drugs to lower their cholesterol, and heart disease is getting no better, folks. It's not getting any better. How many of you are taking an antacid, the blue, what a Prilosec or whatever it's called, to help you with GERD and acid reflux and all that? How many of you are taking an antacid for that, just to completely kill your stomach acid? Should you be doing that? I don't know. You know, there's a there's a there's a lot of evidence out there that says the exact opposite is what's going on, and that your GERD and your reflux and all that is because your stomach don't have nearly enough stomach acid. You know, there is that school of thought out there. You'll never hear about it unless you dive into the research yourself. But I can tell you that I suffered with GERD, and I come to the conclusion I need to significantly increase my stomach acid by taking hydrochloric acid. And when I did, my GERD, I got it under control. You know, if you just kill your stomach acid with these antacids, then it's very, very hard for you to absorb all those healthy nutrients, because your stomach is supposed to be at an extremely high level of acidity. That really high level of acidity helps you properly digest your food and properly absorb your nutrients. And when you take an antacid, you kill that. It might help you deal with your symptoms, but it's not addressing the problem, and it's going to make you even sicker later. That's my opinion. I'm not a doctor. Do your own research. But you have a sphincter valve right here at the top of your stomach, at the bottom of your esophagus. And there's a lot of folks out there who have learned that sphincter valve, what it needs to tighten up and function properly, is a lot of acid in your stomach. The more acid that you have in your stomach, the more it prompts that sphincter valve to close nice and tight, so your food can't work its way back up into your chest. So, do you need that prescription antacid? Maybe. If that's what you want to take, that's fine. Or maybe you just need to increase your stomach acid. Children have an extremely high level of stomach acid. How many children have you ever heard of that has heartburn? Okay? You think about this stuff, folks. I'm just trying to make you think about all this, and go through some of these processes that I went through, and I've made myself to be a much healthier person than I used to be by understanding how all this works, and doing my own research, and being very open-minded about other potential remedies for sickness other than just taking prescription medication. I'll tell you something else that I'm concerned about real quick. In Europe, in their food, they only allow about 600 or 700 chemicals to be in their food. In the United States, we allow like 7,000 or 8,000 different chemicals to be put in our food, and they're all supposedly safe and all that, but I don't know. I don't think we were really designed to eat chemicals. I think we were designed to eat food, but that makes me uneasy. It makes me nervous. I know the government's talking a lot now about potentially addressing that, and just me personally, I hope they do. Um, you know, the big pandemic we all went through. Um, I think most of our leaders' heart was in the right place, but it sure did seem like there was a lot of determination for you to take a medicine, didn't it? Especially when it started to become very evident that there were other alternatives that were working very well, and there were a lot of very, very highly respected uh, doctors out there in the world that were saying that we were handling this pandemic completely contrary to the way epidemiology says we should be handling it. Um, but it seemed like, our system just kept going back to wanting us to take a prescription drug to deal with it. I mean, it even got to the point where um, the leader of the free world looked in the television one night and told us that if we didn't take this medication, we weren't even patriotic. I know his heart was in the right place. I hope it was. But our we are so predisposed to, in this culture, to taking medicine. And I think we need to be more open-minded about preventative health care and giving our bodies all the nutrients it needs so that it can try to heal itself. Um, as with most things in life, the answers are usually somewhere in between the extremes. So, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take any medicines. So if that's what you're getting out of all this, then you're not listening to me very close. What I'm saying is you need to be your own advocate, and you need to understand that your body is constantly trying to heal itself, and your body heals itself with nutrients from the earth. That's how your body heals itself for the most part. And I'm not telling you don't take any medications, but I'm telling you need to keep an open mind and understand that the system is designed predominantly just for you to take a pill, and that may not be in your best interest. So you do you do what you think is best for you, but that's my experience and what I've learned. So you take it from there, and I wish you the very best, but don't bow down to these doctors all the time. My opinion. Take care.